Hey guys, Jared Codling here, new hack every week, and the hack of the week is pattern interrupts. This is my secret to getting crazy click-through rates, engagement, and I just think it's one of those things where, this is not as much of a hack as a lot of the other hacks, but this is something that's just going to be, exponentially improve anything that you're doing. And I think this is just something with the posts I've seen in the group and what everybody's been asking me about. This is one of their biggest challenges. It's their ad creative. How do I make it stand out? Like when I do a viral bot, the reason it goes so well is because my ad is right, and the ad is right purely because I'm great at pattern interrupts. So I'm going to show you my secrets and give a shitload of examples that you can take from here. So why do we do this? Well, first thing is we need to get attention. Secondly, people are getting hit so hard with ads. Like I saw something how we see over 1,000 ads a day or something like that, which I would believe. So the real reason why we do this is a high click-through rate means a high relevance score and cheaper ads. It's that simple. If no one's clicking on your ads, you're not making any money. But you also get rewarded when you do stand out. So this is a huge part of what I do. Everything I do, whenever I make an ad, I say, how can I make this stand out and be different than the competition? And not only that, you're not always just competing with your competition exactly. I'm in the mortgage industry and, I'm not just competing with mortgage brokers. I'm competing with everybody who's junking up their Facebook feed. And that includes their friends and family and stuff like that. It's like anything that's in that feed, I see that as my competition. So I've got to stand out. So firstly, what is it? What is a pattern interrupt? So as a human, you've got too much stimulation going on to process it all. So we're always got a little bit on autopilot. So what I mean is, there's just so much going on in our world. You can't process everything. Even in your visual field, there is so much that you've already seen. So because you've already seen it, you ignore it. If that was to change dramatically and seem dangerous or something like that, you would instantly notice it. So, your room right now, wherever you're sitting, or your office, you kind of know how it looks. If someone was to chuck a big red chair in there, you're going to notice that immediately. That's a pattern interrupt. It's interrupting your what's going on with your autopilot, and we're knocking you out of that autopilot. And so it's really easy to do this online. So what happens if we don't do it? Well, this is an old phrase. It's a traditional kind of marketing term that's been around for a long time called banner blindness. This is why ads stop working after a while, because your audience has already seen it, so they ignore it, and they're on autopilot, so they have to. They got too much shit so going on, so they're they just ignore anything they think they know what that is. So this is also why organic search results generally get a higher click-through rate than paid, even though paid is up higher in Google rankings and stuff like that. It's above the organic, but the organic gets a click-through rate because we are used to being on autopilot and going, that's an ad, skip the ad. We hate ads. To put it simply, we hate ads and we hate seeing shit that we've seen before. So it's going to be different. So it's a psychological process. So think about evolution. The people that survived were the ones that spotted danger and reacted, or, to a lesser extent, they spotted reward and then they reacted. So obviously danger is greater than reward as far as priority, but both can work, especially when we combine them. So I generally use a 3-step approach. First one is get attention. It's danger, or, by that, it could just be that something's wrong, something's different. I haven't seen this before. Secondly, we'll open a loop, which I'll explain sooner, but it's basically give them a reason to read on and create some curiosity. And third, we offer a benefit, a reward, and we've got to make it a little bit unusual, something they haven't seen before, and try to tie it back to the interrupt so it actually makes sense. So you get that kind of congruence. So this is going to sound very deep, but don't just write this off as, Jared just does dumb shit that stands out and that works. It's not that. It's more than that. That's part of it. I love making dumb looking ads, but I actually put thought into it, and that's why it works. I actually think, psychologically, why does this work? And Nick's sitting here next to me, and the other week he was watching me make an ad, and I put a dog paw in there for absolutely no reason. So I must admit, sometimes I just do shit for no reason, but most of the time it's got a little bit of thought behind it. But look, this doesn't just apply to ads. It works on landing pages, works on emails, subject lines, in the email, works everywhere. So once you get your head around this principle, it's really powerful. Step one, we want to get attention. So I'm going to give you a heap of examples here because honestly, this is the part where I think most people fail. You can have a great offer that's a little bit different and all of that, but making it stand out is the hardest part for everybody. So I'm going to show you some examples, but I want you to understand the principles behind it so you can discover your own and make your own. You can copy mine. Like, I don't care. Like, use mine. They're great. But you're going to miss opportunities. I want you to understand what I'm trying to achieve here so you can go out and make your own ads that are going to perform great. So here's one that I use. And I've used similar variations to this before. And I'll just play it now. This is TV static. So as soon as they're scrolling down the feed and they see that, it's like TV static comes up before the ad. And then it runs into the ad. That's moving in like an irregular way as well, so that captures the eye. This is using my canvas hack, but they're scrolling, and then bang, like TV static, like what the hell was that? They watch it to go like, what the hell is that? Now, my demographic is people over 30 years old. So they're used to the old TVs where you would potentially get static and that meant something was wrong. The antenna's screwed up or something like that. So my demographic, they instantly just mentally take that mental shortcut and they go, something's wrong, and it grabs their attention. One more time, there we go, TV static, and then it jumps in. So that's an example. That's an ad that, I'm literally running right now. This is my favorite, emojis. I love emojis. Firstly, they add color, so that helps. Secondly, I use a lot of sirens and warnings and attract our eye for danger. So I use emojicopy.com, but there's heaps of those. As you can see, I've got this, all capitals and like limited time only, so it's kind of that urgency, and it's got the sirens, police sirens. They just work so well, and everyone's like, like I've got my own style of ad, and people see it. I get people screenshot ads that I do for clients. They're like, this is one of yours, isn't it? And they can pick mine a mile away because I love using these fucking sirens. But they work. I've split tested this. This isn't just theory. Like, I test vigorously everything that I do. So that works. Steal it. Use that. I even do warnings like everywhere. So here's my sales page for Drew Baird Fitness. You can see this warning thing right now. Immediately, it snaps them into, oh shit, I need to pay attention. There's a reason I do that. So, this is one of the top performing sales pages I've seen. We've been using this exact sales page for years because I can't beat it. And so, and part of that is I grab their attention immediately. Other danger ads, so this is one I was using for New Hack every week, it's siren kind of thing, that performed reasonably well. Humans recognize faces. This one's great. So another evolutionary advantage was being able to read faces and stuff like that. If something's out of place, like this is a face swap of a creepy man on a little kid's body. And this is where I use that dog paw that I was mentioning as well. I don't know why I put that there. But this ad, I was using it for New Hack. Then I've actually used the exact same ad and used this exact same picture of this guy, which I literally just grabbed from Google Images. It just performs so well. It's crazy level of interaction, people tagging their friends, and it just, oh my God, the click-through rate on it is insane. So I know it looks stupid. Like, I get it. You can't, if you're running like $1 billion company, you can't do this. But if you're trying to guerrilla market and start from the bottom, do this shit because it just grabs attention and works so well. Or mess with the familiar, but make it feel wrong. So you can see this one. I use Donald Trump. Everybody knows his face, so they see that, but then there's like, what's going on with his head? Like, that's just totally fucked up. And so that one worked really well as well. The click-through rate was great. So, that's something that's familiar, and so you're almost going autopilot on it, and then your brain says, hold on, there's something wrong there. And so as you can see with the copy, hack's so great, they'll make your brain bigly. Like, I'm tying it back into the image, and I'm just making it funny. I'm just actually making it make sense as to why I used it. Doesn't totally make sense, but at least it's congruent to some extent. Step 2 is, we want an open loop, and an open loop is like an unanswered story. Humans need answers. If we need to solve problems, and so if we start a story, we need the solution. We need the resolution. So an example is to start a video ad, and Nick did one like this. It's like start a video ad while holding a tea bag. It's going to be something unrelated to your industry because remember, we're on autopilot. So if you're doing a finance ad and you're holding a credit card, well, of course you're holding a credit card. They just go, this is a fucking ad. If I'm holding the tea bag and I say this is a tea bag, is the secret to XYZ, but I'll get to that, get to why in a minute. First, let me tell you a story. They're going to be hanging to why the fuck is this tea bag the answer to this secret? You know what I mean? And so that's an open loop. And that's part of a pattern interrupt because firstly, you've got to grab their attention with the obscure kind of thing that you're holding. But then, secondly, you want an open loop and get them hanging on because they need to resolve that in their mind. We do this in webinars. So if you've done Russell Brunson's perfect webinar, you list out your secrets and you don't get to them straight away. You leave some mystery. So it's really important that you kind of say, oh, look, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. And you make these open loops so that they're hanging there. They just really need to resolve that and know the answer to that situation that you've proposed. In my mortgage ads, I often say, what's the best rate you can get? It leaves curiosity. Yes, I'll say our best rate is this, but then I'll say, what's the best rate you can get? The reason for that is then they've actually got to complete the quiz before they find that out. There's a level of curiosity. There's an open loop. They now don't know what the best rate is that they can get, and they need to solve that. The only way to solve that is to become my lead and make me some money. On Product Hunt. So this is like a launch site for online products. If you don't know it, a lot of startups, SaaS products, they launch on there. A lot of apps. Everyone was using like static images, but I worked out that you could get a GIF as your actual icon, like your as your logo, and then in the feed, ours was actually doing stuff. It was actually moving around because it's a GIF. This got us a much higher click-through rate, I imagine, and it would have had to. Like, it just stood out so much. And so that's just an example, but wherever you can, like on Medium, I now use GIFs because like it actually shows the GIF. Like the click-through rate is so much higher because I use a GIF. It's just that simple. So GIFs are a great way to do it as well. People speed scroll, and like you got to give them a reason to stop. Like people are just like, they see so much shit in their feed, they're just like scrolling until they find something that interests them. We want to make them stop, and it can be this simple evolution. So let's say I start with this ad. How much can you save in your home? Looks really bland. Yes, I do the static interrupt, but if the static interrupt doesn't work, well, I've got to use a thumbnail as well. So because not everyone has video autoplay on. So if I'm going to make a thumbnail, yes, I start with this, but they're just going to scroll past that. It's really bland, unless they're super interested. So I want to make it stand out. Imagine if I just put this really bright pink at the top of it as like a top border. At least they're going to see it, and they're going to stop and read it. They might not have. They might have just scrolled past it. Now they're going to see it. Then if I put an arrow, even further, like they're like, hold on, that's going to make them pay attention to that part, and actually they're going to be more likely to read it. I've split tested shit like this so much, like it literally just works. But then what if I made it so that it was really different? They're like, why is that like that? Grab their eye, and I move the arrow over to the right. People are a little bit inherently OCD. All of us are. So if something's out of place, we spot it. We look at it, and we go, what's going on there? And we need to solve it. So if that's there like that for no reason, that is the ad I can guarantee will perform the best. So it's a balance though between looking professional and getting attention. But test it, you see the difference. So obviously you got some level where you can't just do too much stupid shit if you're trying to build a brand. I mean, I can because that's my brand. But a lot of professional services companies, you can't really do that. So you just got to have this balance. But you can have stuff that looks a little bit off. You can have colors that contrast really heavily. You can put stuff out of place and get that response. So here's some example subject lines that work. I literally just typed a heap of junk. If you've got a heap of random letters as your email subject line, you are going to open that. Like, you're just going to, especially if it says like read this now in the middle of it. Like I'm just gonna go like, what the hell is that? At least I'm gonna get the open. It's a pattern interrupt. Or like this reply. Okay, it's a deal. They got this curiosity. It's different because it's got the reply thing. They're like, hold on, that's not supposed to be there. I can't remember talking to that person. Doing this emoji, you can do emojis in email subject lines. Now, it won't work with all email clients. I would say test it, but you can now do emojis. And doing like attention means it's important. This subject line is one of the best I've ever used. Going like attention, are you the founder of XYZ? And you put in their company name. That one, they're just like, hold on, that's my company name. They're not used to seeing that in the subject line, especially if they're not giving that data out much. With company name, they're often not. So if you can do that, then they'll open it. I even do this in emails, like I break the mold. I think I've talked about this one before, but I would say, got something to share with you, thought to myself, hey, first name might be into this, so here it is. That's what I would write in an email. I'd put, like, they're on the second line before I'm putting that mail merge and putting their first name. Most people will just go, hey, first name on the first line. We open that, we read that, we go, this is the same as every other fucking email in here. It's just some dude trying to sell to me. So, pattern interrupt with that. People like to spot stuff that's out of place. So I've seen people intentionally use typos. I know an email marketer that uses typos intentionally all the time in his subject lines and shit. And I mean, it gets his open rates. I've talked to him about it, and it works for him. Just add borders with different colors, contrasting colors. It's going to make you stand out in Facebook newsfeed. And then make something feel like it's blending and then surprise them. So this one's killer. This is honestly one of the best pattern interrupts I've ever seen in my entire life. You're scrolling, and you see this, and a spider crawls out on your screen. So it looks like a news feed, and then a spider crawls out. If I was doing like pest control or something like that, pest control leads or something like that, I would totally use that. So yeah, that one is like the fucking best. Drew, my business partner, is like a beast at this shit. Like controversy is a great way to interrupt the pattern. So he's said, so we love doing this one where we've filmed a video and then we put like an overlay over the top with some text and then say something like a really concise message. So this one is like, if you're overweight, you must be lazy. Now that's coming from a weight loss coach. Say, if you're overweight, you must be lazy. Now Drew's not actually going to say that. He's going to say, that's a full of shit message. But that's how you hook them and you get them in. And then, he's got these warning symbols. He's got he's using emojis and, as you can see, this has reached 926,000 people, most of it organic, the vast majority organic, because, this is controversial, it's a pattern interrupt, and it works so well. Other examples, if I go, important, you need to see this, and then this is all blurred out. Yes, it's clickbaity as hell, but it's going to get the click, you're going to get the relevance. Low battery, that gets attention. So if you did this on a full screen as well, so it was like an image ad, or especially a video ad, I know that they'll hold true on the amount. This would work great on Instagram stories. If you did like a battery low kind of message at the start, it's gonna grab their attention. They're definitely gonna see it, and then you can transition to whatever you want, which might be that an offer is about to expire. There's limited time left on your flash sale. So that's a great way because people they mentally look at that battery low and it's a sense of danger. It is actually a sense of danger for us these days. So use that one. You may have seen this one going around. It's like the holes in the hand, and a lot of guys were using this with native ads, so they were running them at the bottom of news sites, and that's because the click-through rate's so high. It looks really out of place. It's kind of gross, but it's like it makes us feel uncomfortable. That's one that was going around, and it was going around so much because it was performing. If you see any ad on that's a native ad, which I mean like at the bottom of news sites and all that, and you see it consistently, that's because it's working. These people aren't wasting money. Guys who run native ads are quite often way more advanced, using way bigger budgets than the guys running Facebook ads, and you can learn a lot from their ads. This one worked so well because I stacked it. So this one, if you've seen this, it got almost 70,000 comments. It was a viral bot that I ran for a client and friend. And so a shocked baby just immediately grabs your attention. This enter to win, the way that's kind of grungy, it's tilted, it's out of place. But it's also bright red. The contrasting colors grab the attention as well. So I've stacked multiple things. It's an actual person shocked that will always interrupt a pattern. A baby especially, because that's who I'm targeting. Young mums or people about to be mums. They're going to be wired that way, that they're looking for babies. And then, there's enter to win. That's going to get my competition seekers. And also the contrasting colors are going to help so much. I've stacked a heap of shit here. And I could have just ran this bar the whole way across the bottom. Instead, I got a little bit designy and made it look a little bit different because a lot of people have been running those bars. I also put a top border on it as well of a color. I used like every tactic ever and could put it all in one thing, and it just fucking went dynamite. Like it just exploded. And I swear it's because like I just used all these pattern interrupts together and stacked it together. And yes, it looks like a total mess, but you can't argue with results. And, you can get like as clickbait as hell. Like, this works. This is what a lot of native ads guys do. Shit like this. You would just blur something out and you go, you won't believe what you wore. Blur it out. Something like that. You can just blurring and creating that open loop of curiosity as well as it looks out of place. It just works. And if you see something that's really clickbaity, I mean, it's for a reason. That shit works. So, take note of it. So, basically, make it stand out. Make it look wildly out of place. Step 2, open a loop and create curiosity if you can. You can't always, sometimes you're just shooting for the click, but if you can create some level of curiosity, do it. And then number 3, if you can also tie it back as to why the interrupt, so it makes sense. Just make it reasonably relevant, and it can be in some bullshit kind of way, but at least you get some level of congruence. Otherwise, I might go, that was just clickbait. Make it make sense. Like with that weird looking guy, I was like, this guy hasn't signed up yet. Like, are you really going to be like him? You haven't signed up yet either. It's a dumb link, but it worked. So, talk soon, guys. Chuck any questions in the comments. And, if you've seen any amazing examples, comment them as well. Because I'm always looking for, what kind of ads are effectively doing pattern interrupts. All right, talk soon, guys.